website, www.interzoid.com. And what we're going to need for this demo is to go to the API link list, and you can see all the different available Interzoid APIs that can be used to enrich, match, or standardize data. And for this particular demo, we're going to use the Get Global Number Information API. And if I click on that, you can see all kinds of information about the data that comes from this API when you call it, using an international telephone number as input, the endpoint, and some technical information, sample code. But we're not going to need any of that for this particular demo because we're going to use the Interzoid Cloud Data Connect product to consume this API within Postgres. And that's the important thing to understand. And then one more thing we need to do in order to access the API during the demo, we need to come back to the home page or from anywhere, click on register, and this enables us to obtain our free license key for trial purposes, fill out your various information, and then when you confirm your email address, you'll be able to log in and get your API license key that we will need in order to run this demo. Okay, so if you don't have Postgres installed yet or want to upgrade your version, to do so, come here to the Postgres website and you can see the current versions at the time of this recording. All you need to do is click download and then scroll down and you can pick your version, Linux, Windows, Mac, Solaris, BSD, and you walk through the install process, which we won't do here, and you'll be ready to run this demo. Okay, here we are in pgAdmin, the Postgres administration tool, and you can see our default database, Postgres, here. And so if I right click on that, what we're going to want to do is select the query tool. And then now here we're in the query editor, and I'm going to create a database that we're going to use for the demo. We're going to call it Interzoid. And then execute. Now we've created that database. Now it's not showing here under databases, so we're going to right click on servers and there's a refresh. And when I come back, we can now see the Interzoid database that I'm going to connect to. And I can begin to start using the Interzoid database that we have created. So the next thing that we want to do is clear the query editor so we can then create a table within our database and populate that with the data that we're going to use in our demo to demonstrate use of the API within Postgres. Okay, now to make it easy to load data into Postgres, we've created some sample test data for you at interzoid.com/data. And you can see here we have links to the raw global phones data that we could use, but we've also created the SQL statements to make it even easier. So if you click on the global phones SQL, you can see the create table, and then we're going to insert a bunch of international phone numbers into our table that we're creating here. So we've got a ready-made test database that we're going to use to call the API, and we're going to enrich this data in real time. So what I'm going to do is a Control A, and that'll copy all of this data. And then I'm going to do a Control C. Actually, the Control A highlights the data, and then the Control C enables me to copy that data. And then we're going to go to the query tool and paste it in. So back here at the query editor, I do a Control V, paste it in, and if I scroll up, you can see all the various statements. And then all I'm going to do from here is execute the query. And when we execute the query by clicking here, we can see that the query returned successfully. And then I'll clear the query editor, and to make sure that our query worked, we can run a select star statement from global phones, the table that we've just created. Execute that, and then we can go down and actually see our data here. And make it a little wider, easier to see. You can see that all those phone numbers that we've created now exist in the table, and we are ready to actually append and enrich this data using the Interzoid API. So here we are at the website landing page for the Interzoid Cloud Data Connect product. And so we'll just scroll down until we get to the place where we can actually download the product, and we'll click on that. And then here on the download page, you can see the different versions: Windows, Linux, Apple, Mac OS, Darwin, and so forth that we can download. And then we also have the option to download the non-ODBC or the ODBC enabled version. Now in this particular case with Postgres, we're going to be using a native driver, so we do not need the ODBC version. However, if you think you will be using Interzoid Data Connect with the other databases that might require an ODBC connection, you can download this one, but it will work the same regardless for this particular demo. So let's go ahead and click on the Windows version and download that to our PC for this demo. Okay, once you've downloaded and unzipped the executable into a directory, we're ready to go ahead and execute the operation, which will enrich our table of international phone numbers. Now here, I have this pre-prepared, so I'm going to just paste it in. And we're calling it from the command line, and there's some reasons for doing that we'll explain shortly. And you simply use the executable name, and then set as a parameter the function will be global phone, because that's the data source that we're going to be using within the Interzoid API on the Interzoid API platform. The target is Postgres, since we're going to be using the native driver. Here is the license key for the API that allows you to access the API that you get when you register on the Interzoid website. And then here's the connection string, and this is where you're going to want to include your password, localhost if you're running it locally, presumably you are, and the database name, which is Interzoid. And then the table name that we've created, which is global phones. The column we're going to use as the reference that we're going to send to the API. And then we're going to generate SQL because we're creating a table and we're actually going to name that table instead of using the default. Now there's all sorts of different options here. I could send the new data to a comma delimited text file, all sorts of different ways that you can check the documentation. But we're going to go ahead and run this, and then you'll see the data enriched within Postgres directly. Press enter, and the connect tool is connecting to the source data. It retrieves them, enriches that data via the API, and then inserts the newly enriched data into the new table. We take a look at that here. And then what we can now do to see our results is come back to pgAdmin 4 in the query editor, and we can do a simple select from the table that was just created from our new table name parameter when we executed IZDC from the command line. And I run that, and now we can see all the fields that were appended for the phone number, what country it comes from, what language is spoken, the various cities, whether or not it's a mobile number, and several additional data fields here off the screen that you'll be able to see for yourself. And these are the results. We've been able to have taken a data source, appended data to it, all within Postgres and without any coding, all automated. And these are the results. Now that we have the data in our database, we can do joins, we can do all kinds of searches, a lot of different advanced things that we can do now that we have the data in the database where we can make maximum use of it.